Lungani will check in with you a little bit later. ANC reporter Lungani Mnguni coming to us live from outside the Public Protector House. But the African National Congress Youth League is holding a press conference at Luthuli House. Let's go live.
Ours is not to take over their podiums. We continue to call for a peaceful march for free education. We condemn the destruction of property and the burning of libraries, as well as the violence that characterized this particular process. The burning and destruction of property undermines the genuine struggle of the students. We call on the police to also exercise restraint and not use excessive force or brutality on the students. We call for the release of the arrested students and the lifting of suspensions for the students who were part of this particular struggle. We believe that this particular matter requires a dialogue. We don't believe that the current arrest of students, the suspensions, the expulsions will seek to correct this particular issue. Students are not criminals, but legitimate social agents yearning for free education. The meeting of the ANC Youth League president and provincial chairpersons agreed on the following framework going forward. This is what the ANC Youth League will be doing as practical steps to take this particular struggle forward. Firstly, we are going to meet the president of the country within the next few days to discuss our concerns, firstly about the commission, but secondly about the ongoing impasse. Because we believe that the ANC needs to start listening to its ANC Youth League. Because you find that as much as there's a lot of voices that are there, the ANC Youth League needs to be listened to. We will approach the private sector. In fact, we want to applaud the Congress of South African Students, COSAS, for leading a successful march to the JSE. As the ANC Youth League will also be leading our own march to the JSE, because we believe that the JSE and the billions and billions of rands that have been made there must be redirected to fund education. We will also call and intensify for the wealth tax to also be imposed on the rich families, because we don't believe that you must deal with the so-called rich student, deal with the rich parent, tax the parent, and ensure that those particular rich people fund education. We will be marching to Treasury to demand proper budgeting for education. We feel that the minister alone cannot be responsible, but Treasury must also come on board, because every year you find that Treasury does not increase its budget for education, but decreases it. So as the ANC Youth League, we are going to be marching to Pravin Gordhan to demand that Treasury must come on board. We call for the scrapping of application form fees, because part of what we are dealing with here is that those particular students who want to study in our institution of higher learning are still burdened by paying for application forms. So we are also calling that those particular things must be scrapped. We believe that those particular forms must be easily accessible and they must be free. We call for a legislation to revise institutional autonomy, because universities shift the blame to government when faced with challenges, but claim autonomy when the government seeks to intervene. Every time the government wants to intervene in the running of councils, we are told that no, universities are autonomous. But whenever society is faced with challenges of this particular nature, universities, they push the issue back to government. So we are saying that there must be an act to regulate that particular autonomy, and government must be given power to intervene. We will be convening an education summit. We will be inviting SRCs. We will be inviting stakeholders in the education sector, or PYA. We will also call society, our veterans, everybody who's affected, because education is a societal issue. We will call everybody to come under one roof in the province of Gauteng. We'll announce the date very soon. And indeed, that particular summit must begin to find sustainable solutions to this matter. We believe that the ANC has called for a developmental state. And for that particular developmental state to thrive and succeed, the issue of education can no longer become a commodity, it becomes a necessity, and government must ensure that it decisively deals with that particular matter. So the Education Summit must be able to advise us in terms of how do we move forward. We'll also soon engage with our PYA structures, because we don't want, as a PYA, to have different postures on this particular matter. We believe that We all strive for one common goal, and we'll be convening our PYA summit because to us, this is not a competition. Society out there demands free education, and we believe and agree with society, and we are calling for the implementation of free education now. So we are calling for the commission that is currently in place, not to report in June next year, but to report by the end of this year, because we can't continue to postpone it, because the more we postpone it, the more the education sector becomes destabilized as is currently happening. That is the end of our statement. Thank you. So we'll now take questions, and comrades here in front will then respond as led by the president.
And there are no questions.
You'll be the first one, the second one, the third one. So it's only 3 questions.
Let's take the second round.
For now, okay. Ungaqala.
Thank you. Thanks. From News 24. Does this mean then the call that was made by the ANC Youth League following its NEC sitting for students to go back to the classroom changes in any way? What is your stance on that? Because now you're saying you're in support, so yeah, I just want to know where you stand on that. And then you're speaking about the different postures that exist. Couldn't that have been avoided though, as PYA structures? Couldn't you have said from the beginning to say, this is our view? Because you're right, they're very different voices on the same thing, coming from the same group of people on a different day. Thanks.
Do you now support the call by Wits University students, mainly that by whom many of your youth league members and supporters have called him towards a demagogue as a populist? Do you now support his call for free education to be implemented now? Because he's been seemingly voicing what you've been saying now. He's been very consistent with it for the past year and a half. And why have you then distanced yourselves from characters like him, who have basically been radical about the free implementation of free quality education, as you say, was resolved by the organization of the Manga Women Conference? And the second question, the Secretary General of the ANC says free quality education may be implemented, but the Freedom Charter does not dictate or say that there shall be free education. It says that the doors of learning shall be opened. I would thus say that you agree with Natasha, or don't you agree? Because he says financial aid has gone far than what the Freedom Charter stipulates. And lastly, what's your view with Julius Malema saying the ANC and the EFF must join together and collapse the ANC, close the Tree House, and open another big organization with its headquarters in Soweto? Thank you.
I suppose to find out, you talk about the fact that you're going to be marching together with the students. You're not trying to hijack. Who exactly has been trying to hijack? Can you give us names and where has this been happening? The second thing is, you talk about a wealth tax. Please tell me about how that's going to work. Because my understanding of the way tax works in this country is that it's progressive, where the rich anyway pay more tax than people who are poor. So what are you suggesting that's different?
Okay, I think we'll start with the president.
And Sidi? No, thank you very much. Today we not going to discuss the Julius Malema, EFF and ANC measure. That has got nothing to do with the call by students for free education. If the ANC and EFF are to merge, will there be free education? The answer is no. So we're not going to discuss that. Whether we are for or not for the idea is not for today. And anyway, we will not allow the ANC to collapse. Now, to deal with the issue that Mqebo Dlamini has been very vociferous on the issue of the implementation of free education. Now, why are we aligning ourselves with him? That is not his call. You see, when there's a struggle, when the Youth League marches tomorrow to the JSE, it's not a Colin Maina march, it's an ANC Youth League march. Now, this call can't be personalized to Mqebo Dlamini. It's a call of the student. And we are repeatedly saying as the Youth League that when we established in 1944, part of the calls we made was that there must be free education. So we have made that call in 1944 already. So it can't then be reduced to an individual. And we have always said that we support it. And we are saying that we don't support the shutting down of campuses. We're also still encouraging students to go back to classes while we are putting pressure on government and the Commission in particular to report earlier than anticipated, which then say that the Commission that was established by the President must then report this year, so that next year there must be clarity on what is going to happen. And as we are saying, we want free education to be implemented this year, or by next year. Now, the issue of the Secretary General of the ANC, the SG likes to be a friend of the Youth League these days when he makes statements. Now, the Freedom Charter says that education will be awarded on the basis of merit. Now, passing matric, other students pass matric and do not qualify to go to institutions of higher learning. Those who qualify, it means that is merit. So merit cannot only then be when you on financial issues. For the fact that you qualify to get into the institution of higher learning, that is merit. And now, if Freedom Charter said that in 1955, we then said in 2007, based on what the Freedom Charter is saying, as the ANC, which elected the Secretary General for the first time, that there must be free education. When he was elected for the second time in Mangaung, the same call was reaffirmed. So we don't really understand where the comrade is coming from. Maybe we need to debate with the SG the issue merit. Maybe there's a lack of understanding when it comes to merit. Of course, you understand, English is not our mother tongue, so we ought to engage each other on the issue of that particular thing. As for the PYA not meeting, I'm sure TD that if we're not disingenuous, we have addressed to here, the secretaries of the PYA have addressed a press conference here. All of them were represented. But what we're just saying is that recently we came to you differently, saying the same thing but differently. So we want to maintain that thing of us as the PYA always sending the same message. It will be many messages, many voices, but one message. I would now allow other comrades to come in, because this is not mine alone, it's with the provincial chairpersons, so that you don't say many things. Other chairpersons have apologized, they've got responsibilities. I don't expect that you must say the things you write. And as you can see, the deputy president is also not here, because this is a presidential thing. He also has commitment, so don't go and write your things that you normally write, that a Colin faction attended, so others, no. Provincial chairpersons have rendered apologies. The other one is an MEC, she's having sports award. The other one is a mayor, so I can quote all of them. He's having ESCO, so that you don't come disingenuous when you report some girl. Comrades, chairpersons, you can respond to others.
Thank you very much, President. I think President gave an account. There is a question, by the way, my name is Tim Mashele, the provincial chair in Mpumalanga. There is a question on the issue of tax. We were saying as the ANC Youth League, CEOs of this big conglomerate, one person will take home 100 million, and it cannot be correct. We don't want to stand here, President, and name their names, but we know them. One man can take 100 million home alone, whereas people are poor and they can't access free education. One of the important issues which determine our existence as the ANC Youth League and as the African National Congress is to pursue an agenda of building a developmental state. We want to build a developmental state, and a prerequisite in building a developmental state is education. Education is the building blocks. That is why if you track back resolutions of conferences, Mangaung, you go to Pulukwan, we are saying free education. What we are saying now is that we want free education now. Our Congress last year said free education, and some Molopoloists decided to get into the street and jump up and down, saying free education. We are saying as the ANC Youth League, we are going to march side by side with the young people of this country, where the leadership of the young people will lead society and will make sure that we we put pressure in the ANC-led government in making sure that we realize free education in our lifetime and today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mohammed Khalid Sayed is the name, and I'm the provincial chairperson of the Western Cape ANC Youth League. There was a question linked to the statements of the SG, but a question relating to the National Students' Aid Fund, NSFAS. We need to reiterate, because in our province this issue has come up a lot, and it's often postured by some as a form of free education. We want to emphasize again that NSFAS is not a form of free education. NSFAS is a loan, and it's an interest-based loan. We are saying that NSFAS is a temporary solution. It's not the long-term solution. Quality free higher education is the long-term solution. The other issue is to say, with regards to the issue of